You know that feeling when you ask an AI something complicated and it just spits out an answer? No explanation, nothing. You're just left there thinking, okay, but how and can I actually trust this? Well, today, we're going to crack that wide open with a super powerful technique that fixes this exact issue. All right, so let's set the scene with a pretty typical word problem. Imagine this. A company's got 120 employees. 30% of them work from home, 40% are hybrid. So the question is, how many people are actually working from the office full time? And bam, this is what you'd normally get back. Just a number, 36. Is that right? I mean, maybe, but honestly, the answer by itself is pretty much useless if you can't see how it got there. Right, and this is what we call the black box problem. It's a huge deal. For anything important, like a business calculation or figuring out why your code is crashing, just getting an answer is a total gamble. Because if there was one tiny slip up in the logic, the whole thing is wrong, and you'd never even know. So what do we do about it? Well, the solution is actually something your math teacher probably drilled into you back in school. You've got to make the AI show its work. It's that simple. And that one little idea is the absolute key to getting answers you can actually trust. And of course, this cool technique has a name. It's called chain of thought prompting, or COT for short. All it really means is you're telling the AI, hey, don't just give me the final answer. Walk me through it. Show me every single step you took to get there. And look, this isn't just some cute little trick. It makes a huge difference. We're talking about foundational research from Google that shows using this method can boost accuracy on tough problems by anywhere from 10 to a whopping 40%. That is a massive improvement, a total game changer. Okay, so how do you actually do this? Well, there are basically two main ways to get an AI thinking step by step. Let's break them down. First up, you've got the super easy one. It's called zero-shot COT. All you literally have to do is tack on a little phrase like, let's think step by step to your prompt. That's it. Now, for trickier stuff, there's something called few-shot COT. This is where you kind of teach the AI what you want by giving it a couple of examples of good step-by-step answers before you ask your real question. But you know, the best way to really get how powerful this is to see it in action. So let's look at a couple of real-world before and after scenarios. Okay, here's a question a lot of startups face. It's not a simple yes or no. It's got layers, right? It really needs some structured thinking to get a good answer. So without chain of thought, you ask the AI and you get this, a really vague, kind of generic answer. I mean, sure, it's not wrong, but it doesn't actually help you do anything. It's not actionable at all. But now, look at what happens when you use a COT prompt. Wow, the whole game changes. The AI actually breaks the problem down. It sets up criteria, it looks at different scenarios, what if you're early stage, what if you already have a product, and then it gives you a solid recommendation based on that logic. Now this is something you can actually work with. All right, let's switch gears from business to tech. This same idea is a lifesaver for debugging code. Because think about it, just getting the right code isn't enough. You need to understand why the old code was broken in the first place. So you give the AI your broken code, and with a standard prompt, you get this. It's fine. It's a decent guess, but it's totally surface level. It's completely missing all the tricky little edge cases that are probably the real source of the bug. And here we go again with the COT approach. This is brilliant. The AI becomes a methodical debugger. It goes through the code step by step, and it actually starts thinking about potential problems. What if the list is empty? What if the data is in the wrong format? It spots all those potential failures, and then gives you a much stronger fixed version of the code that's ready for them. Okay, so you've seen the proof. It's pretty clear this works. Now, let's get you set up with your own little toolkit so you can start using chain of thought right away. Now, the key here is knowing when to use it and when not to. Chain of thought is your best friend for things like math problems, logic puzzles, planning, strategy, anything with multiple steps. But for a simple question like, what's the capital of France? Well, it's just overkill. You don't need it, and it'll just slow things down. And honestly, for most of what you'll be doing, that super simple zero-shot approach is all you're going to need. The template couldn't be easier. Just write your question and then add that little magic phrase. Let's think step by step. That's it. You're off to the races.
Okay, here's a quick pro tip for you. The AI model you're using definitely matters. Models like GPT-4 and Claude are amazing at this zero-shot stuff right out of the gate. Some others, like Gemini, might need a little nudge with a few examples to get the best results. But the general rule is the bigger and more powerful the model, the better this technique is going to work.
So let's pull back for a second. What does this all add up to? Chain of thought isn't just some clever prompt hack. It's way bigger than that. It's really a new way of thinking about how we work with AI on hard problems. And what's wild is how fast this all happened. The first big paper on this came out in early 2022. By the end of that same year, people had figured out the simple, let's think step-by-step trick. And now it's quickly becoming a must-know skill for anyone who's serious about using AI effectively. And the really exciting part? This is just the starting line. Once you get the hang of chain of thought, you're ready for even more advanced stuff, like tree of thoughts, where the AI explores a bunch of different reasoning paths at the same time. COT is really the foundation for all of it. So I want to leave you with this question. Think about a hard problem in your world. Maybe it's a financial forecast, a piece of code that's driving you nuts, or a big strategic choice you have to make. How are you going to solve it differently now that you know how to make AI show you its work?